Beloved, chosen one. Stop scrolling for a moment. Heaven has paused everything around you to deliver a message meant only for you. Time itself holds its breath while your name is whispered across the realms of light. You are not here by coincidence. You are not listening by accident. You were drawn here because your spirit has been marked from the beginning. Every sound around you fades. And in this stillness, heaven speaks. Listen closely. You have felt it for a long time, the quiet pull, the gentle ache in your heart that never fully goes away, the feeling that you were made for something more, that you do not belong among the noise, that you were designed to stand apart. That sense of divine discontent is not confusion, it is calling. It is destiny reaching out to remind you that the time has come. You are heaven's chosen vessel, carved out by fire, sculpted by pain, and prepared by silence. Every heartbreak you endured was a chapter of training. Every closed door was a sacred rerouting. Every tear that fell was recorded in the courts of heaven as evidence that you never gave up. You have survived what was meant to break you because you were never built to be ordinary. You are divine design wrapped in human skin. The world has tried to define you by your failures, but God defines you by your endurance. You have been misunderstood, rejected, and overlooked not because you were weak, but because you carry light that terrifies darkness. The rejection was protection. The delay was development. The silence was sacred construction. Destiny has been unfolding behind the veil, and now it presses forward to meet you. Beloved, this is not a motivational speech. This is a divine encounter. This is heaven's announcement that the appointed time has come. You cannot run from destiny because it has already begun. Even if you tried to escape, the hand of God would find you in the farthest places. The Spirit is moving now, stirring the atmosphere around you, awakening the sleeping parts of your soul. You are being summoned, called out from among the crowd. This is not for the many, this is for the marked. The anointing resting upon you has been dormant, waiting for this hour. There is a reason you feel the world shifting around you. There is a reason old cycles no longer satisfy. Heaven is pressing you out of the comfort zone and into the divine zone. You were chosen to be a voice, not an echo, to walk where few dare to walk, to stand when others bow. You carry something that this generation desperately needs: a sound, a presence, a mantle that cannot be imitated. The darkness knows your name, and that is why the warfare around you has been intense. But hear this: the battle is proof of the call. The opposition is confirmation of your anointing. Do not let fear silence what God placed inside you. This moment is sacred. The Spirit is hovering over your life, whispering, "It's time." You can no longer postpone the inevitable. Destiny does not wait for convenience, it demands obedience. The world will not understand you, but heaven celebrates your courage. Your yes will echo through eternity. And as we stand on this threshold between what was and what will be, listen to the eternal words that have guided generations. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 5. "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are an appointed one, designed with intention and released for impact. Everything you lost, every tear you cried, every valley you walked through, it all served the same purpose: to prepare you for this revelation. You carry heaven's signature within your spirit. Even when you doubted your worth, heaven never withdrew its call. Every setback was a secret rehearsal for your unveiling. Every disappointment, a refining fire, forging your endurance, shaping you for divine release. Now, stand tall. Let the weight of destiny rest upon your shoulders like a crown. Let the atmosphere around you shift as faith awakens inside you. You are the evidence that prophecy is real. You are the living proof that God still chooses vessels in this generation. If these words resonate deep within your soul, it is because heaven is confirming what your spirit already knows. You were never meant to run. You were meant to rise. So, take a breath, lift your eyes, and declare within your heart, I will not hide from my calling. If you feel the fire stirring inside you, if you know this word was meant for you, then take one small act of faith right now. Like this message, share it so others may awaken, and comment below 777 as a prophetic sign that you accept the divine assignment on your life. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and stay connected, because your journey as one of God's chosen ones has just begun. From the moment you took your first breath, the heavens already knew your name. You were not born into coincidence, but into covenant. Long before your arrival, divine plans were whispered among the stars. You were marked, etched into eternity's blueprint before time began. Every path, every intersection, every person who entered or exited your life was woven with precision by the unseen hand of purpose. Beloved chosen one, this is why you have never fit in. You were never meant to blend, you were meant to blaze. There was a holy stamp placed upon your soul that separated you from the ordinary. Even as a child, you could feel the difference, the way your spirit sensed things others could not. The way your heart carried both burden and beauty at once. That was not sensitivity, that was spiritual sensitivity. That was destiny whispering, I've been here all along. Before you could even speak, heaven spoke over you. Angels surrounded your cradle, guarding a promise that your earthly mind could not yet comprehend. You have always been surrounded, always been watched over, always been prepared. And though the years brought pain, loss, and confusion, the divine script never changed. What God wrote cannot be erased. What He ordains cannot be undone. Somewhere along the way, life tried to make you forget. People spoke words that wounded you. Rejection made you question your worth. Delays made you wonder if God had forgotten your name. But destiny is not deterred by time. The divine purpose within you does not expire, it only matures. What looked like delay was gestation. What looked like silence was strategy. The seed was growing roots, hidden from view, but never dormant. You see, the storms that battered you were not there to destroy you, they were there to reveal you. The winds that broke your branches only strengthened your roots. Every heartbreak was heaven's classroom. Every setback, a sacred syllabus. You learned resilience. You learned compassion. You learned to discern truth in the middle of chaos. You learned to stand when the ground beneath you shook. These lessons were not punishment, they were preparation for divine promotion. When others mocked your faith or misunderstood your heart, it was because they could not see what heaven had hidden. You are an enigma wrapped in divine mystery. People sense something different about you, even if they cannot name it. It unsettles some and inspires others. You carry a presence that shifts atmospheres not because of who you are, but because of who walks with you. This is what being marked feels like, a constant tension between heaven's weight and earth's misunderstanding. It is the silent ache of being seen by God, yet unseen by man. It is the contradiction of being powerful, yet wounded, chosen, yet chastened. You are in this world, but not of it. You are designed for impact, not applause. You are sculpted for legacy, not comfort. So when you wonder why your road has been harder, remember, diamonds form under pressure. Warriors are not trained in ease, but in adversity. Every battle sharpened your discernment. Every loss deepened your wisdom. Every disappointment purified your motives. The very pain that once broke you is the same anointing that now empowers you. You carry oil that can only be produced through crushing. And as the Spirit of Truth whispers across the pages of eternity, we are reminded through the writings of Paul in the book of Ephesians, chapter 2, verse 10, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." There it is, the eternal confirmation. You are not a mistake. You are a masterpiece, formed intentionally, crafted divinely, positioned precisely. Nothing about your story is random. Every scar is a signature of divine craftsmanship. Every moment you felt overlooked, heaven was orchestrating alignment. If you could see what God sees, you would stop doubting your worth. You would stop comparing your journey to others. You would realize that what He prepared for you was written before your first cry. Your calling is not something you chase, it's something you awaken to. You are walking into a reality that has always existed in heaven's timeline. This is why you've survived things others couldn't. It wasn't luck, it was preservation. The angels held you when the darkness tried to swallow you. The Spirit whispered when the world grew silent. The fire that was meant to consume you refined you instead. That's the mark of one chosen for divine purpose. Even when you tried to escape, destiny pursued you. When you walked away, grace followed. When you silenced your prayers, heaven still interceded. God has been too invested in your future to let your detours define you. The covenant on your life cannot be cancelled by human hands. You are a living prophecy, unfolding in real time. Now, as you stand between memory and manifestation, something within you stirs again. You can feel it, the subtle trembling of purpose awakening, the divine timing of heaven colliding with the readiness of your heart. Everything you've endured was not just about survival, it was about positioning. Heaven does not waste pain. Every scar becomes a map pointing toward destiny fulfilled. Beloved, the world will see the glory, but only you and heaven will know the cost, the loneliness, the tears, the nights of questioning. They were not empty. They were sacred. God was shaping your soul to carry what others could not. You have been entrusted with weight that only the chosen can bear. And soon, the same people who doubted you will witness what it means to be divinely appointed. You are not late. You are right on schedule. Heaven's timeline is never rushed, never delayed, only precise. The prophecy is unfolding exactly as written, and your role in it cannot be replaced. The seal upon your spirit declares it so. The fire within you testifies that it's real. You are not searching for destiny, it's already begun. And it carries your name. You felt it for months, maybe years, the quiet stirring deep within that will not be silenced. The restless heart of the called. You've tried to ignore it. to numb it, to bury it beneath work, distraction, and noise. But it always returns. It visits you in the stillness before sleep, in the moments when the world grows quiet and your thoughts become loud. That ache is not emptiness. It's the echo of eternity, reminding you that your spirit was created for something greater than this world can offer. Beloved chosen one, your restlessness is not rebellion, it's recognition. You are recognizing that the systems and rhythms of this world cannot contain your soul. You've outgrown what used to comfort you. What once inspired you now feels too small. That's the mark of spiritual maturity. The divine spark within you is stretching, expanding, pressing against the limits of your old identity. Heaven is calling you out of the shallow into the deep. And yes, it feels uncomfortable. Growth always does. You are being awakened, not abandoned. You are being summoned to rise. The season of hiding is ending, and with it, the illusion of normalcy you've tried to maintain. You were not created to live half awake. The world needs your voice, your courage, your obedience. You carry something that cannot stay buried any longer. Do you remember those moments when you almost gave up, the nights you cried quietly, wondering why you felt unseen and misunderstood? Heaven was watching. Angels were recording. Your tears were not wasted, they were prayers too deep for words. Every sigh, every silent plea reached the throne. You have not been forgotten. You have been forged. There is a rhythm to divine calling. It starts as a whisper, grows into a weight, and eventually becomes an unshakable conviction. That's where you are now. You can feel the tension of transition. The part of you that wants to surrender fights with the part that fears change. But even in that tension, heaven is patient. God never rushes the called, he refines them. We are reminded through the ancient words recorded in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Those words still thunder across centuries. They are your reassurance that nothing you've faced was wasted. The heartbreak, the confusion, the loss, it all fits. Every broken piece is finding its place in the mosaic of destiny. You are not behind, you are being aligned. Do you feel that stirring in your chest right now? That's not emotion, that's awakening. The Spirit is confirming that what you sense is real. You've been called according to divine purpose, and the time for hesitation is over. The world may try to distract you, but heaven is reminding you who you are. Every time you tried to walk away, grace pulled you back. Every time you thought it was over, new strength rose within. That's not coincidence. That's calling. It's time to stop questioning and start moving. It's time to trust that the one who began the work in you will finish it. You don't need to understand every step. You just need to take the next one. The path will appear under your feet as you walk. Obedience unlocks revelation. Faith builds foundation. This restlessness you feel, it's holy. It's sacred disruption. You're being pushed out of comfort into calling, from potential into purpose. Let the tension purify you. Let the discomfort shape you. Don't resist what's meant to release you. And if these words strike something deep inside your spirit, if you feel the truth of them vibrating in your soul, then I want you to pause and type these 3 simple words in the comments. I am ready. Say it not as a phrase, but as a declaration. Because when you write those words, something shifts in the atmosphere. You're not just responding to a message, you're agreeing with heaven. You're saying, I accept the call. I choose to align. Every prophetic moment begins with agreement. Your written declaration becomes a spiritual act of obedience, echoing through realms unseen. Let your fingers become the pen of faith, and your comment the contract between your heart and heaven's will. Don't overthink it, just respond. Destiny always waits for a response. Heaven is not asking for perfection, only participation. Because the truth is, beloved, you were never restless for no reason. You were never searching without direction. That ache was always divine. It's the sound of your purpose calling you home. The reason your spirit cannot rest is because it remembers where it came from. It remembers the assignment. This is your moment of awakening. Don't let it pass. The same God who began your story is still writing it. The same Spirit that called you then is calling you now. And soon, the restlessness will give way to revelation, and the ache will turn into action. Your spirit knows it's time. You have tried to hide. You have tried to quiet the voice that calls your name in the stillness of night. You have tried to convince yourself that the weight you feel is just imagination. That maybe if you blend in long enough, the fire within you will fade. But destiny cannot be silenced. You can cover it with distractions, drown it in noise, and bury it beneath fear, but it will rise again. Because what God plants cannot die, it only waits. Beloved, chosen one, you've run before. You've walked away from moments that felt too heavy, too uncertain, too costly. You've told yourself that maybe someone else was more equipped, more holy, more capable. But the truth remains, you were chosen not because of your perfection, but because of your heart. God saw something in you long before you saw it in yourself. The same light that terrified darkness when you were small still burns within you now. Every time you've tried to walk another path, something inside you pulled you back. You've stood in rooms that looked right but felt wrong. You've taken opportunities that glittered but brought no peace. You've smiled when your soul was tired, trying to convince yourself that this version of life was enough. Yet deep within, the whisper continued, there's more. That whisper wasn't guilt, it was grace. Heaven's hand was gently steering you back to alignment. You see, destiny is patient, but it is persistent. It will chase you through years of silence if it must. You can delay obedience, but you cannot escape purpose. You may think you've gone too far, that your mistakes have disqualified you, but beloved, the call of God is irrevocable. Once spoken, it never returns empty. It may wait until your heart is ready, but it will never disappear. There were seasons when you felt forgotten, but in truth, you were hidden. God hides his chosen ones until the appointed time. Hidden, not to punish, but to protect. You were being refined in secret, like a seed buried in the soil. The darkness wasn't your end, it was your beginning. Every hidden year, every silent prayer, every lonely night, heaven used it all to prepare the foundation for your revealing. When you look back, you'll see it clearly. Every detour was direction. Every heartbreak was redirection. Every unanswered prayer was protection from a path that would have destroyed you. What felt like rejection was divine redirection. What felt like delay was design. The threads of your story, though tangled in your eyes, have been woven perfectly by hands that never make mistakes. And even now, the Spirit whispers, stop running. You don't need to keep proving, striving, or pretending. Destiny doesn't need your performance, it needs your permission. It doesn't require perfection, it requires surrender. You cannot earn what was freely given. The purpose on your life was never about merit, it was about mercy. You are not behind. You are right where God wants you, at the crossroads of surrender and obedience. You've carried guilt for too long, guilt for choices made, for time wasted, for opportunities missed. But here this grace still stands. Mercy is not exhausted. The potter never abandons the clay. He reshapes what seems broken, turning ashes into beauty. What you thought disqualified you has actually qualified you to reach those who feel the same. You are proof that redemption is real. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 139, verses 7 and 8. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. Those ancient words still echo through eternity. You cannot outrun the one who is everywhere. Even in your hiding, he is near. Even when you tried to silence him, he spoke through circumstances, through people, through signs too obvious to ignore. Heaven never lost track of you. Every step away was still under divine surveillance. The truth, beloved, is that the resistance you feel is not rebellion, it's fear. You fear what obedience will cost, yet you've forgotten what disobedience has already taken. Peace cannot coexist with avoidance. The longer you run, the heavier the call becomes, not as punishment, but as persuasion. The Spirit is patient, but purpose is insistent. You were created for such a time as this. You were chosen to carry a sound that no one else can release. You've been pursued by love that refuses to let go. You cannot outrun what is written, and you cannot hide from what heaven has ordained. The same fire that has followed you through storms is the same light that now beckons you home. Let go of the fear. Let go of the hesitation. Destiny is not chasing you to harm you, it's chasing you to heal you. The resistance was never against the call, it was against your surrender. But even now, grace stands at your door, waiting for your yes. You can stop running now. The same God who called you is still calling you. The same grace that carried you before will carry you again. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. You are found, seen, chosen, and called once more into the arms of destiny. Heaven's assignment over your life has never changed. Even when you felt lost, even when your prayers echoed back in silence, the call remained. It is written upon your soul like an unerasable signature. You were not created to drift, you were designed to deliver. There is something inside you that terrifies the darkness because it carries light older than time itself. Beloved, chosen one, the moment you said yes to existence, heaven set a mission in motion. You carry a blueprint, an invisible scroll written before you were born. It's not about titles or platforms. It's about transformation. You are a living key meant to unlock chains, a vessel of fire meant to ignite hearts that have grown cold. Every experience you've walked through, both the beautiful and the brutal, has been shaping your assignment. The betrayal that broke you gave you discernment. The rejection that wounded you gave you empathy. The silence that stretched you gave you depth. All of it was part of the training divine conditioning for divine commission. You were never meant to live a small, contained life. You were meant to carry heaven into places that have forgotten its sound. Your presence is disruptive to darkness because it reminds hell that its time is short. You are a walking contradiction to fear. You are heaven's ambassador clothed in human form. The enemy never attacked your finances, your peace, or your relationships. By accident, he attacked your assignment. Because if he could keep you distracted, he could delay the destiny written on your name. But no longer. Heaven is calling you to stand, to remember who you are, to walk with the authority that has been resting quietly inside you. You were never ordinary. You were chosen for an assignment that shifts atmospheres. The moment you truly believe that, everything around you begins to change. We are reminded through the words of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is from me, declares the Lord. You carry that promise like armor. You walk with that heritage like a crown. Weapons may form, but they cannot finish. Words may rise, but they cannot define. You are covered by covenant, not circumstance. When you walk into a room, light enters with you. When you speak truth, chains begin to crack. When you love with sincerity, hearts begin to heal. That's the power of your assignment. It's not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, like a candle burning faithfully in a dark room. But even the smallest flame defies the entire night. You may feel unworthy, but heaven does not make mistakes. The potter knows exactly what kind of vessel he created. You may see cracks, he sees capacity. You may see flaws, he sees flow. The oil of your purpose can only pour through the places that once leaked pain. Every scar you carry is a doorway for someone else's deliverance. So don't despise your journey. Don't curse the process that made you. Your story is someone else's survival guide. You are being positioned to pour into those who are walking the same valleys you once crawled through. That's the beauty of divine assignment. It turns your past into prophecy. And as you continue to walk in this calling, remember, no one fulfills a mission alone. Even Jesus walked with those who carried pieces of his purpose. We walk together as a body, many hearts, one spirit, every like, every share. Every small act of connection extends the reach of light further than words can. When you share this message, you're not promoting a voice, you're spreading the sound of awakening. When you subscribe, you're saying yes to being part of a global ripple of faith. When you donate, even if it's small, you're sowing into soil that produces eternal impact. Your support is not a transaction, it's participation in divine work. Think of it like tending a fire in the wilderness. Each piece of wood added keeps the flame alive through the night. Every heart that engages adds warmth to someone else's cold darkness. That's what your simple act does. It keeps the light burning for those still lost in shadow. So, beloved, as you listen now, breathe this truth in. You are not a spectator in the story of destiny. You are a carrier of it. You are part of the movement of heaven unfolding on earth. You are the living continuation of God's story, still being written in real time. Lift your chin, straighten your shoulders. Feel the weight of purpose resting on you, not as a burden, but as a blessing. You are chosen, commissioned, and covered. The assignment is not heavy when you remember who holds you. Walk boldly into what you were born for, because your obedience shifts generations. And when you take your next step, know this: heaven walks with you. Beloved chosen one. There are moments in life when heaven interrupts what feels ordinary to reveal what is extraordinary. You know those moments, the ones that stop your breath for just a second. When the timing feels too perfect to be coincidence. The delay that saved you. The rejection that redirected you. The door that closed so violently it could only have been God's mercy disguised as disappointment. These are not random occurrences. These are divine interruptions. Every detour, every delay, every heartbreak you thought would destroy you was, in truth, divine redirection. Heaven has been steering your steps even when you thought you were wandering. Nothing has been wasted. Even the things you regret are being redeemed. The map of your life is written in both miracles and mistakes, and God uses them all to guide you home. Sometimes the interruption hurts. Sometimes it feels unfair. You pray for open doors, but heaven locks them. You ask for peace, but storms arrive instead. Yet every storm carries instruction. Every closed door whispers, "Not this way." What feels like denial is often divine protection. The route you imagined was too small for the magnitude of your destiny. You were never meant to walk the easy road. You were meant to walk the eternal one. It is written according to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 21. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Let those ancient words sink in. You have made plans, dreamed dreams, and pursued paths that seemed right, but purpose has always had the final say. You may have cried over what didn't happen, but heaven rejoiced because it knew what was ahead. Every no was actually a not yet. Every delay carried divine meaning. Every disappointment was direction wearing disguise. Destiny often feels like disruption. God interrupts not to punish, but to preserve. Think of Jonah in the belly of the fish, not abandoned, but redirected. Think of Joseph in the pit, not forgotten, but positioned. What feels like confinement is often cultivation. Heaven hides you in strange seasons to prepare you for sacred ones. You see, your life has not been random. The patterns of pain, the sudden turns, the unexpected stops, they were all pieces of a divine puzzle. The same God who painted galaxies also choreographed your journey. Every collision, every coincidence, every connection, He authored them all. Even your broken seasons have been holy, though you didn't recognize them at the time. Look back for a moment. Can you see it now? The heartbreak that led to healing, the detour that led to discovery, the season of silence that forced you to listen. Heaven was writing purpose into every pause. You thought you were standing still, but your spirit was being repositioned. Beloved, this is what divine interruption feels like. It dismantles your expectations so that God can build your destiny. It removes what you wanted to make room for what you were meant for. It is not loss, it is alignment. Heaven never takes without giving something greater. You were not denied, you were preserved for a higher path. And now, you stand at a divine intersection. The past no longer defines you, and the future waits for your agreement. This is a holy pause, heaven pressing its hand on your shoulder saying, wait, watch, listen. For too long, you've rushed ahead, trying to make things happen in your own strength. But destiny does not rush. It unfolds in perfect timing. You are being refined by stillness. This waiting season is not empty, it's sacred. Something is shifting beneath the surface of your soul. You are being stretched for greater capacity. You are being tuned to heaven's rhythm. Don't despise the pause. It's proof that heaven is near. And when you finally see the next open door, you'll realize it was worth every delay. The peace that once felt distant will flood back in waves. The weight you carried will lift because you'll understand that it was never about your timing, it was about your trust. The potter's hands have never left you. Even in silence, he shapes. Even in darkness, he designs. Every interruption has been instruction, teaching you to lean not on your understanding but on his. So, when the plan changes suddenly, when the road twists unexpectedly, don't panic, pause. Look up and whisper, "I trust you," because heaven never interrupts without intention. And if, as you read these words, your spirit feels that gentle stirring, that realization that all along, heaven has been orchestrating your steps, then mark this moment. Let your faith speak in a prophetic act of agreement. Comment the number 444 below, not as superstition, but as symbolism. 4 represents stability, foundation, divine order. By writing 444, you are declaring, "Lord, I trust your order over my plans. I trust your purpose over my path." Let your comment become your covenant, your silent amen echoing across this sacred space. This is your divine interruption, the moment where heaven reclaims your pace, realigns your path, and restores your peace. You are not lost. You are being led. There comes a time in every chosen one's journey when the weight of rebellion begins to press against the soul. It doesn't always look like defiance. It often begins quietly, wrapped in hesitation, cloaked in reasoning. You tell yourself, maybe later, maybe when I'm ready, maybe after things calm down. But deep down, you know that delay is just disguised disobedience. Destiny does not pause because of fear. It waits. Yes, but only for so long. Beloved chosen one, rebellion isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a whisper that says, "I'll do it my way." It's a heart that trusts convenience more than conviction. You've felt that tug of war inside the spirit calling you forward while your flesh pulls you back. It's not because you're weak, it's because you're chosen. The greater the calling, the stronger the conflict. Heaven invests heavily in those it intends to use deeply. Every time you choose silence when you were meant to speak, the world stays a little darker. Every time you run from obedience, the mission slows. Not because God's power depends on you, but because He desires partnership, not puppetry. Your obedience opens doors that angels themselves cannot open without your yes. That is the mystery and the weight of divine collaboration. When you resist the call, you feel it immediately. Peace begins to withdraw. Clarity begins to blur. And everything you once understood starts to lose meaning. The voice of purpose doesn't shout, it fades. That's the quiet danger of disobedience. It doesn't destroy instantly, it drains slowly. And before long, the fire you once felt becomes only an ember, smothered by excuses and busyness. But even in that fading, grace remains. The Father does not abandon His chosen ones. He lets the silence speak. He allows the emptiness to echo until the soul begins to hunger again. He does not punish to destroy, he disciplines to restore. The pain of rebellion is mercy in disguise, a reminder that you were made for more. You've likely felt that ache before the hollow feeling that follows compromise. You step outside divine alignment, and suddenly, the things that once satisfied feel tasteless. That's not condemnation, it's conviction. The Spirit whispering, "Come back home." Because every time you step outside His will, the light dims not around you, but within you, and the longer you wander, the heavier the weight becomes. We are reminded through the story told in the book of Jonah, chapter 2, verse 9, "But I, with shouts of grateful praise, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will make good. I will say, salvation comes from the Lord." Weary foes. Jonah's prayer from the depths is a warning and a promise all at once. He ran. He resisted. He refused. And yet, even in the belly of consequence, mercy found him. The moment he surrendered, destiny resumed. That is grace, not the absence of correction, but the presence of redemption. The same grace covers you. You haven't gone too far. You haven't failed too deeply. You are simply being reminded that running from purpose leads only in circles. You will always end up right where God first called you, because the call does not expire, it waits. And understand this. Beloved, rebellion is not only about outward disobedience. Sometimes it's inward resistance, the refusal to forgive, the fear to believe again, the choice to stay comfortable instead of courageous. Every act of avoidance builds a wall between you and what heaven wants to pour through you. Yet, every act of surrender, no matter how small, cracks that wall and lets the light back in. You cannot outrun what you carry. You can silence it, suppress it, ignore it, but the calling will whisper through your thoughts, appear in your dreams, and echo through your encounters until you finally say, yes. That single word, uttered with trembling sincerity, releases chains stronger than fear itself. So, if you are weary of running, stop, breathe. Let the weight lift from your shoulders. The Father isn't waiting to scold you, He's waiting to embrace you. The moment you turn back, mercy moves faster than judgment ever could. The distance between rebellion and restoration is only one heartbeat long. Think of it like this: a seed can only grow once it surrenders to the soil. As long as it resists the darkness, it remains dormant. But when it finally breaks, when it finally yields, it begins to bloom. That's what obedience does. It feels like breaking, but it's actually birthing. You were never designed to live half alive, trapped between conviction and compromise. You were designed to live fully surrendered, walking in the light of divine alignment. The very thing you're afraid to lose by obeying is often the thing holding you back from the life you've been praying for. Heaven is not waiting for perfection, it's waiting for permission. The moment you surrender, the weight shifts, the fog clears, and peace returns like a long-lost friend. The rebellion loses its power, and grace reclaims its throne in your heart. So, beloved, don't run anymore. The wilderness was never meant to be your home. Come back to the place of purpose, to the sound of your true name. Destiny hasn't forgotten you. It's still waiting where you left it, whispering softly, "It's not too late." There comes a sacred moment in every chosen one's story when surrender is no longer optional, it becomes the only way forward. You can sense when you've reached it. The resistance inside begins to exhaust you. The constant tension between what you know and what you fear pulls at your spirit until something finally breaks. That breaking, beloved, is not destruction, it is deliverance. When the heart reaches its limit, heaven leans in. The breaking point becomes the birthing point. You've carried so much for so long: expectations, burdens, guilt, the need to understand everything. But there is freedom waiting in the place where you finally release control. It's in that exact moment, when your hands unclench and your soul whispers, "I can't do this on my own anymore," that grace floods in like a rushing tide. Surrender doesn't mean giving up, it means giving over. It means acknowledging that you were never meant to carry what only heaven can hold. Beloved, the weight you've been carrying was never yours to manage. You were built to release, not to retain. You were designed to pour, not to hoard. The storms that have surrounded you were not sent to punish you, but to purify you. They've been loosening your grip on everything temporary so that you might cling to what is eternal. You've lost things that you thought were necessary. But in truth, heaven was pruning you for purpose. There's something deeply holy about surrender. It's quiet. It's unseen. It's deeply personal. No one may witness it, but heaven always does. Angels record it. The Spirit testifies to it. Surrender is heaven's favorite sound because it tells God, "You have my yes, even if I don't understand." That kind of obedience releases miracles. It's where strength begins, not ends. We are reminded through the sacred words in the letter of James, chapter 4, verse 7, "Submit yourselves, then, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." It sounds simple, but its truth is eternal. Submission precedes strength. When you finally yield to the Creator's hand, resistance loses its grip. Darkness cannot linger where surrender reigns. The enemy thrives in chaos, but he trembles in the presence of peace. And peace comes only through release. Think of a river. It doesn't force its way around the stones, it flows over and through them. That's surrender. You stop fighting the current and let yourself move with the flow of divine will. You trust that the one guiding the river knows where it leads. Even when you can't see the destination, you trade your control for current, and in that exchange, you find peace. Surrender is also courage. It's the decision to stop pretending to be strong and allow yourself to be strengthened by something greater. It's the moment you drop the armor that's been keeping love out as much as it's been keeping pain in. You may have built walls to survive, but those same walls can prevent you from thriving. And so, God doesn't tear them down in anger. He gently shakes them until they fall. When you surrender, your heart softens, your ears open. Suddenly, what was confusing becomes clear. Not because the situation changed, but because your perspective did. The noise of fear fades, and you begin to hear heaven again. That is the beauty of surrender. It restores the sound of divine guidance. Beloved, this is the moment where pain transforms into peace. You no longer need to understand everything. You no longer need to fix everyone. You no longer need to prove your worth. You simply breathe, and in that breath, you realize that God has never left. Every unanswered prayer, every delay, every heartbreak, He was in them all, preparing you for this stillness, Sometimes, the greatest act of faith is not in moving mountains, but in resting at their base and saying, even if they never move, I still trust you. That is maturity. That is surrender. You stop measuring God's presence by outcomes and start recognizing it in His consistency. And in that sacred stillness, something extraordinary happens. The Spirit begins to move freely within you. The heaviness lifts, the fog clears, and you feel lighter than you have in years. You start to notice small signs, peace in unexpected places, strength when you thought you had none, joy that doesn't depend on circumstances. That's what happens when you let go. Heaven fills the space your fear once occupied. The world teaches you to fight for control, but heaven teaches you to rest in trust. The paradox is divine when you stop fighting. Victory begins. When you surrender, you win. Beloved, what you are feeling now, the calm after the storm, the quiet assurance that you're not alone, that's the beginning of restoration. You have stepped out of striving and into stillness. And from this point forward, every step you take will feel lighter because you are no longer walking alone. The breaking has birthed something new. The weight has turned into wings. And now, you are ready to rise. Beloved, chosen one. Even after surrender comes the battle of voices. You know the one I speak of, the quiet war inside your mind. The tug of war between fear and faith. Between what the world says and what heaven whispers. It's the moment when destiny feels near, yet doubt feels louder. It's when you stand on the threshold of obedience, hearing two sounds at once, one that binds and one that breaks chains. You've heard both before. The voice of doubt, familiar, persuasive, heavy. It tells you you're not enough. It reminds you of failures, amplifies your flaws, and distorts your worth. It always speaks in limitations, never in light. It thrives in uncertainty and hides behind logic. It whispers, "You've tried before, why try again?" It's the same voice that spoke to Eve in the garden, twisting truth just enough to make her question what she already knew. Doubt has always been darkness's oldest weapon. But then there is another voice, the one that does not shout but steadies, the one that doesn't argue but anchors, the voice of truth, carried by light itself. It doesn't promise ease, it promises purpose. It reminds you of who you are when the world tries to convince you otherwise. It calls you chosen when others call you unworthy. It says, you are still loved, when you feel disqualified by your past. That's the voice of God, the sound that silences storms. This is the voice that has followed you since childhood, the one that rose within you when you almost gave up, the one that spoke through your tears, saying, keep going. There's more. You've heard it before, in the moments you thought you were finished, yet somehow stood again. That's the voice that has carried generations of the faithful through fire and wilderness. It is not loud because it doesn't need to be. Truth doesn't compete, it simply stands. The Apostle Paul reminds us in his letter to the Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 19, do not quench the Spirit. Such a short sentence, yet it holds worlds of wisdom. The Spirit speaks, leads, and nudges gently. When we drown that voice with fear, we quench what was meant to guide us. When we yield to his whisper, peace returns. You were not meant to silence the Spirit, you were meant to walk in rhythm with it. The voice of doubt says you failed too much. The voice of God says, My grace is sufficient. The voice of fear says, it's too late. The voice of God says, behold, I make all things new. The voice of shame says you are alone. The voice of God says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. The difference is in the tone. Fear accuses. Faith affirms. Doubt drains. Love restores. Once you learn to discern the tone of heaven, deception loses its power. Beloved, this battle of voices is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of awakening. The enemy doesn't whisper to those who pose no threat. The very reason your mind has been under attack is because your spirit has begun to rise. You are nearing breakthrough, and opposition always intensifies before revelation. Do not believe the lie that peace means the absence of conflict. True peace is the presence of clarity amid conflict. The storm may still rage, but the voice that calms it is already within you. The same authority that commanded the winds and waves now dwells in your soul. When you speak truth, darkness trembles. When you choose faith over fear, the atmosphere shifts. Every time you choose to listen to light instead of lies, you strengthen your spirit. Every time you silence shame with scripture, you realign with destiny. You're not losing the battle, you're learning your authority. And now, I want you to do something simple yet powerful. If, as you read this, you feel the familiar tremble of recognition, the sense that this message is echoing exactly what your soul has been experiencing, then pause for a moment and comment these words. Speak, Lord. Say it with intention, not to me, but to heaven. Let those two words be your declaration of alignment. When you write them, you're not merely agreeing with truth, you're opening your heart to divine instruction. You're saying, I'm ready to hear again. Those two words become your turning point. They invite heaven's voice to drown out the noise. They silence accusation and amplify revelation. When you type them, do it as a prophetic act, because every heart that invites heaven to speak will never walk in silence again. You have not lost your ability to hear God. You've only been surrounded by too many counterfeit echoes. But the moment you pause, the moment you breathe and say, Speak, Lord, the static clears and clarity returns. The war of voices may continue, but now you know how to stand. You'll no longer chase every sound, you'll follow the one that leads you home. Because his voice doesn't lead to fear, it leads to freedom. And that, beloved, is how light wins one obedient heart at a time. One whispered yes in the middle of chaos. The voice of God still speaks. And tonight, it has spoken to you, beloved chosen one. If your spirit has felt the weight of unseen conflict, you are not imagining it. There is a war beyond what your eyes can see, a divine tug between light and darkness, truth and deception, destiny and distraction. You have sensed it in your sleepless nights, in the heaviness that has no name, in the sudden waves of emotion that rise without reason. These are not random feelings, they are signals from the spirit realm. Reminders that your life carries eternal consequence. The unseen world is real. Every choice, every word, every act of obedience or compromise ripples through realms you cannot see. Heaven and hell are both interested in your response. Your yes to God strengthens light. Your silence strengthens shadow. You are not a bystander in this war. You are the battlefield and the weapon. The voice of heaven speaks through the writings of Paul in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 4. The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. You are not fighting people. You are fighting patterns, the arguments that drain your peace, the temptations that repeat in cycles, the thoughts that attack when you're alone. All are tactics meant to divert your focus from purpose. But light always wins when you remember who you are. You are heaven's soldier disguised in human form. You carry divine armor, not made of metal, but of mercy, righteousness, and truth. When you stand, the atmosphere shifts. When you pray, darkness retreats. When you love instead of curse, heaven gains ground. The smallest act of obedience becomes a sword in the unseen realm. The battles you faced were never punishment, they were permission. Permission to see how powerful grace can be when it flows through you. Beloved, every wound you've endured has given you new authority. Every loss has forged new strength. You are becoming dangerous to darkness because you've learned to fight not with anger, but with peace. Not with fear, but with faith. The enemy cannot defeat a heart that refuses to hate. That's the secret power of the chosen. Your compassion confuses the kingdom of darkness. Think of it like a lighthouse in a storm. Waves crash, winds roar, yet the light remains. It doesn't argue with the storm, it simply shines. That's your calling, to remain steadfast when chaos rages. Every time you stay kind in cruelty, hopeful in hardship, faithful in uncertainty, your light grows stronger. The storm was never meant to drown you, it was meant to reveal you. And as you stand in this truth, know this: you are not standing alone. Across the world, countless chosen ones are awakening, each carrying a spark of divine fire. Together, those sparks form a constellation of light across the earth. When you share these words, you're not spreading a message, you're igniting torches in other souls. When you like, when you comment, when you subscribe, it isn't about numbers, it's about unity. Every act of connection builds bridges for light to travel further. You become part of a global movement of awakening hearts, each one declaring, darkness will not have the final word. And yes, when you choose to give, whether through a donation, a prayer, or a kind word, you're not funding a platform. You're fueling a purpose. Your support becomes oil for the lamp that continues to burn through nights of doubt and silence. It's like pouring water on dry soil. It keeps life flowing for others who are thirsty for hope. Think of it as sowing seeds into a garden you may never walk through, yet countless others will. Every offering, no matter how small, is like placing another brick in a bridge that carries light to someone else's dark shore. That's what giving really is, transformation made tangible. So, beloved, if these words have spoken to you, if they have lit something within you that had nearly gone out, then let your response become part of the fire. Share this light, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. The world doesn't need more noise, it needs more truth, more courage, more love that cannot be bought or silenced. You are part of that light. You are one of heaven's carriers. Each action you take, each moment you choose kindness. Each time you share what uplifts, heaven takes notice. And what you release in love will never return empty. Stand firm, chosen one. Lift your eyes to the unseen and remember, though the war is real. Victory has already been written in your favor. You are surrounded, covered, and empowered by a force far greater than the darkness that fights you. And as long as your light burns, the world will never be truly dark. Beloved chosen one, you have walked through fire that others could not have survived. What they saw as your downfall was, in truth, your refining. You have been through nights that stretched longer than they should have, carrying questions too heavy for words. Yet even in your silence, heaven was speaking through the breaking, through the aching, through the slow unraveling of who you once were. What felt like destruction was really transformation. Fire is heaven's sculptor. It shapes without permission, burns without apology. And yet, when its work is done, beauty stands where ashes once were. You have been in that place, the furnace of refinement, where everything you depended on melted away. The things that could not survive the heat were never meant to stay. What remained, beloved, is what was eternal in you all along. You see, God does not waste suffering. Pain is a tool in his divine workshop. It carves humility where pride once stood, compassion where judgment once ruled, and strength where weakness once trembled. The moments you thought would destroy you were actually chiseling your spirit into the likeness of heaven's design. And though the carving hurts, it is holy. Each strike of the divine chisel removes what cannot enter the next season. Every tear becomes water that softens the stone around your heart until love can take its rightful place. Pain refines not just your faith, it refines your ability to feel. When you look back, you'll see the precision of his hand. Every season of breaking aligned you perfectly for the blessings ahead. You will thank the storms you once resented because they cleared the ground for new growth. Nothing was wasted. Even your sorrow was sacred construction. The word of the Lord speaks through the prophet Isaiah. Chapter 48, verse 10. Behold, I have refined you, but not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. These words are not poetry, they are prophecy fulfilled in you. You were tested, not because God doubted you, but because heaven trusted what was hidden within you. Faith that has never been tested cannot be trusted. The heat reveals the true core. And in the fire, your faith proved genuine, it endured. Every flame you faced forged something new, patience where there was panic, worship where there was worry, stillness where there was striving. Pain became the holy classroom where your spirit learned to listen. You began to understand that real strength isn't loud, it's resilient. Real peace isn't the absence of storms, it's the calm that remains while they rage. Beloved, do you remember when everything seemed to fall apart? When prayers felt unanswered and heaven felt silent? That was not abandonment, it was alignment. Silence is God's way of settling the soul before revealing the next chapter. In the absence of noise, he was turning your heart from survival to surrender. The fire wasn't punishment, it was purification. The refining process always feels lonely because it happens in places no one else can enter. You may have looked around and realized no one understood, no one stayed, no one saw. But understand, this gold is refined in isolation. When the flames rise, even the dross must step back. Only you and God remain in that sacred space. That is where intimacy is born, when all else burns away and only his presence remains. And when you finally step out of the furnace, you are not the same. There's a stillness about you that doesn't come from pride, but from peace. People sense something in you now. They can't name it, but they feel it. It's the weight of authenticity. You have been tempered by truth. You have become a mirror that reflects light without distortion. That is the secret of the chosen. Every wound becomes a window. Through your scars, others will see hope. Through your honesty, others will see healing. The pain that once isolated you will now connect you. The very thing that was meant to silence you has become your testimony. Do not despise the fire that forged you. The flames that frightened you were the same flames that freed you. They burned away imitation and left only essence. You are not who you were before the storm. And that's the point. The old self could not carry this new anointing. The ashes you left behind are proof that resurrection has already begun. Beloved, when you walk now, you walk with quiet authority. You do not need to prove your calling. The fire already testified. You do not need to chase validation. The scars already speak. Every step you take carries the sound of someone who has survived what others feared. You are a living altar where pain met purpose and transformation was born. And remember this, every furnace has an exit, but no one leaves the same. You emerged radiant, refined, ready. Heaven looked at the gold of your endurance and called it good. The fire has done its work. Beloved, you are ready to shine. Beloved chosen one, you have walked through the fire, and now the air around you feels different, lighter, brighter. There's something shifting, something aligning in ways that logic cannot explain. You've begun to notice patterns that feel divine, numbers that repeat, dreams that speak, coincidences that feel too precise to be random. These are not accidents, they are confirmations. You have stepped into prophetic alignment. Heaven communicates not only through words, but through symbols, timings, and signs that stir your spirit. When your heart becomes quiet enough to listen, you start to see what was always there. Every random encounter, every closed door, every delay, all of it has been heaven's choreography. The invisible hand of God has been weaving your story with precision that only eternity could plan. You are now in the phase where the unseen becomes visible. Prophetic alignment means heaven's timing and your obedience finally meet. It's like two rivers merging into one. Your steps begin to flow with the rhythm of divine will. Suddenly, everything that once felt heavy now carries grace. You find yourself in the right place at the right time, saying the right words, meeting the right people. What used to be coincidence now feels like confirmation. This is how destiny unfolds, not in chaos, but in divine pattern. Heaven is mathematical in its miracles. God speaks through repetition, through rhythm, through moments that nudge you toward remembrance. The things that keep appearing, those verses, those numbers, those dreams, they are not meaningless. They are markers on your path, signals that heaven is near. The prophet Habakkuk once wrote of such divine precision, declaring in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarry. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." Beloved, your appointed time is arriving. What you've prayed for is no longer a possibility, it is becoming a reality. The delays you endured were never denials, they were divine synchronization. Heaven had to rearrange circumstances, shift hearts, and prepare the path so that when the blessing arrived, you would be ready to carry it. When you live in prophetic alignment, even small details begin to glow with divine meaning. A conversation with a stranger can feel like prophecy. A passage you've read 100 times suddenly opens with revelation. Songs, numbers, whispers in prayer all begin to connect, like stars forming a constellation that spells your calling. And as this alignment deepens, the spirit within you becomes more sensitive. You'll begin to sense peace as permission and discomfort as protection. You won't need to chase signs, they'll follow your obedience. That's the rhythm of divine timing when you align. Life aligns. Still, beloved, be wise. Not every sign is from heaven. Not every open door is anointed. That's why discernment is vital. The same light that guides you will also guard you. Ask the Spirit to distinguish between divine instruction and human impulse. Prophetic alignment is not about chasing wonders, it's about walking with wisdom. Heaven confirms purpose in quiet ways. Sometimes it's through the right message appearing at the perfect moment. Sometimes it's through numbers like 555, appearing again and again, whispering of grace, transition, and divine favor. If that number keeps appearing in your world, take it as a gentle nudge from heaven. If your spirit resonates with this, if your heart feels that subtle stirring, that sense that what I'm speaking aligns perfectly with what heaven has been showing you, then pause for a moment and comment 555 below, not as a ritual, but as a prophetic response. This number represents divine change, the grace to move into what's next. It means heaven is restructuring things on your behalf. By writing 555, you are declaring, Lord, I align with your timing. I trust your hand in my unfolding. Let it be your visible, yes, a small act of agreement that echoes in invisible realms. Every word you speak, every gesture of faith, ripples through creation. Heaven responds not to hesitation, but to harmony. Beloved, do you see it now? The reason the past season was so painful is because the foundation had to be realigned. What was off balance had to be corrected before expansion could come. The shaking you felt wasn't rejection, it was realignment. God was turning the compass of your soul toward true north again. Now, as the air clears, everything begins to make sense. The detours, the pauses, the losses, all of it fits together like a puzzle whose edges you couldn't see until now. Destiny never rushed, it matured. You have been tempered, refined, and repositioned. And now, heaven whispers, it's time. Expect divine appointments. Expect dreams that speak. Expect peace that feels like direction. You are walking in sync with something eternal, something unstoppable. And the same heaven that wrote your beginning is now unfolding your next chapter with precision and power. Prophetic alignment means this: your life has caught up to the promise. Your prayers are now colliding with heaven's plans. You are living in the moment where waiting ends and walking begins. Breathe it in. Beloved, you are not lost, you are aligned. Beloved chosen one, can you feel it? The stirring within your chest, the quiet hum in the unseen, it is the mantle awakening. What once slept beneath years of fear and silence now begins to move. Stretch and breathe again. You may not have words for it yet, but your spirit recognizes the change. Something sacred is rising inside you, something ancient and divine. You are not becoming something new. You are remembering what you've always been. The mantle that rests on your life is not a reward, it is a responsibility. It is the invisible covering that marks you as heaven's ambassador on earth. It carries weight not to crush you, but to anchor you. It carries authority not to elevate you above others, but to equip you to lift them. It carries remembrance not of your past, but of your purpose. The mantle is not for decoration, it is for demonstration. It announces, silently yet powerfully, that you belong to the kingdom of light. When a mantle awakens, it rarely happens with noise. It often begins in quiet conviction. You start noticing how certain things no longer sit right with your spirit. What once entertained now disturbs. What once drew you now repels. This is not boredom, it's birthing. Heaven is separating what no longer serves your calling. The oil upon your life demands purity, not perfection, but authenticity. It's strange, isn't it? The things that once felt comfortable now feel confining. That's because your spirit has outgrown the shell of your former self. The skin of survival no longer fits the shape of your anointing. The voice that was once uncertain now begins to carry authority. You speak, and people listen not because you demand attention, but because your words carry weight from realms unseen. The mantle stirs differently in everyone. For some, it manifests as a holy fire, a relentless passion to bring change, to heal, to build, to teach, to create. For others, it's a deep peace that steadies them in chaos, an unexplainable calm that others borrow strength from just by being near. However, it moves in you. It carries the same signature, heaven's touch upon human flesh. You may feel unqualified to carry such power, but that's the beauty of divine choice. Heaven never looks for the flawless, it looks for the yielded. The mantle chooses the humble. It rests not on the loudest, but on the loyal, not on the perfect, but on the persistent. It's not about your ability, it's about your availability. We are reminded through the words of Jesus in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verse 19, "Behold, I give you authority to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you." Do you notice how your perception has changed? The same situations that once triggered fear now evoke compassion. The same words that once wounded now strengthen. The same obstacles that once overwhelmed now sharpen your focus. That is transformation, not by effort, but by elevation. You are operating from a higher dimension now, one where peace becomes your strategy and love becomes your weapon. But remember this, with every awakening comes accountability. To carry a mantle is to walk with reverence. The oil upon you is sacred. It cannot mix with bitterness, gossip, or pride. It flows best through humility, gratitude, and obedience. Protect it, not out of fear, but out of honor, the same way a musician treasures their instrument. You must guard the purity of your heart, because that's where your sound comes from. There will be moments when the weight feels heavy, when isolation feels unfair, when misunderstanding feels unbearable. But know this, the mantle often demands solitude before it brings influence. Separation precedes elevation. You are not being excluded, you are being consecrated. Heaven is refining your voice, your discernment, your heart, so that when you speak, it will not be you, it will be God through you. The awakening of your mantle also brings restoration. Where you once felt broken, you now carry healing. Where you once felt small, you now walk in authority. Where you once doubted your worth, you now stand clothed in divine confidence. You are not the same. The fire that purified you now fuels you. The silence that once frightened you now becomes your sanctuary. And as this mantle continues to awaken, you'll notice the shift around you. People will be drawn to you for reasons they can't explain. Environments will respond differently when you enter. That's not ego, it's evidence. The glory you carry is invisible but undeniable. You don't have to announce it, heaven already has. So walk gently. Chosen one. The mantle upon you is both crown and cloak. Crown for the authority you carry. Cloak for the humility that sustains it. You are being positioned to bring light where darkness has ruled for too long. The spirit that once hovered now rests upon you. You are the fulfillment of promises whispered generations ago. The mantle is awake. The time has come, and heaven watches as you take your first steps as the one you were always meant to be. Chosen one. Every awakening brings with it a quiet separation, a necessary and holy dividing of paths. The moment your spirit begins to rise, heaven begins to rearrange the landscape around you. This is the separation season. It does not come as punishment, it comes as preparation. You have prayed for elevation, but before God lifts you, He always loosens you. The weight of destiny cannot be carried while clinging to what no longer aligns. You may feel it now, the gentle pulling away from certain people, environments, and habits that once felt familiar. Conversations that used to excite you now leave you empty. Rooms that once felt like home now feel too small. This is not arrogance, this is awareness. Your spirit has outgrown what your comfort still craves. You are no longer meant to fit where you once belonged. Heaven is stretching you beyond the limits of familiarity. At first, the separation feels cruel. You wonder why those you loved seem distant, why certain relationships fade without conflict, why doors you thought would open suddenly close. But beloved, God's pruning always precedes His planting. He removes attachments that can't survive where you're going. Some people were divine assignments for a season, not for a lifetime. Their departure does not mean failure, it means fulfillment. Their part in your story has ended so that yours can continue. We are reminded through the writings of Paul in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 17. Therefore come out from among them and be separate, says the Lord. Touch no unclean thing, and I will receive you. Those words are not isolation, they are invitation. Heaven calls you higher, not away from people, but away from patterns that poison purpose. Separation is not about superiority, it's about sanctity. It's about clearing space in your heart so the Spirit can dwell without competition. God never removes without reason, He subtracts only to multiply. Think of an eagle. Beloved, when it senses the coming storm, it does not flee, it ascends. The same wind that frightens lesser birds becomes its lift. It soars higher, beyond the clouds, where the air thins and the noise fades. That is what separation does. It elevates you above distraction. You are not losing connection, you are gaining clarity. The higher you go, the fewer can travel with you. And yet, this process is painful. Humans crave belonging, and God calls us to becoming. You will find yourself torn between loyalty and obedience, between affection and assignment. But remember, love does not always mean staying. Sometimes, love means releasing. Letting go of what hinders your growth is not betrayal, it's alignment. When you obey the pull of heaven, you make room for what's next. Your separation will expose what was never solid. Some will misunderstand your distance as pride. Others will try to pull you back into patterns you've outgrown. But resist the urge to explain yourself. Destiny never argues with misunderstanding. Silence is sometimes the loudest obedience. Your fruit will speak for you in due time. There is a sacred loneliness that accompanies this season, a silence that feels heavy but holy. Do not rush to fill it. In that stillness, heaven rewires your spirit. You are learning to walk by faith, not by familiarity. God often hides his chosen ones in obscurity before revealing them in glory. This isolation is incubation. Your next chapter is being written in secret. You will notice, too, that your appetite changes. You'll hunger for truth more than attention, for peace more than approval. The things that once entertained you will lose their flavor. You'll start valuing quiet conversations with God more than loud gatherings with men. This is the mark of maturity, the moment when presence becomes more precious than applause. Beloved, you are not being abandoned, you are being anointed. You are being separated from what drains your spirit so that you can carry what empowers it. The oil of heaven flows only on clean vessels. That's why God has been clearing the clutter around you. The stripping may hurt, but the space it creates will soon overflow with glory. And when the separation ends, you will see what it was all for. The friendships that remain will be forged in faith, not convenience. The opportunities that come will fit like keys in divine locks. You will realize that nothing was lost, everything was exchanged. You traded comfort for calling, noise for knowing, good for greater. So, stand firm in this sacred solitude. Do not rush what heaven is refining. The same God who led you out will lead you into something far beyond what you can imagine. When the season of separation ends, you will not look back with sorrow, you will look back with understanding. For now, walk quietly, listen deeply, let go freely. This is the holy thinning of your circle, the trimming of branches before the bloom. You are not being diminished, you are being defined. And when the time comes, beloved, you will emerge not empty, but ready lighter, clearer, and clothed in a new strength that could only be born through letting go. Beloved, chosen one, the battle has broken, and the air around you feels lighter. You have endured the fire, survived the isolation, and walked through the valley of uncertainty. What once threatened to bury you has now become the very soil that nourishes your growth. You stand now on the edge of fulfillment, the place where your crown waits. You are crowned with purpose. Heaven does not crown the untested. Every trial you faced was a thread in the tapestry of glory being woven over your life. The nights that left you weeping were the anvil where your strength was forged. You may not have seen it, but heaven was shaping your crown in secret, piece by piece, moment by moment, using even the things that broke you to make you beautiful. The word of the Lord declares in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 11, "Hold fast what you have, that no one may take your crown." This is not just a poetic phrase, it is a warning wrapped in promise. The crown is not gold, it is endurance. It is faith that refused to bow. It is obedience that stood firm when everything else fell away. The world may not see it, but the heavens do. You wear victory in your spirit, even before the manifestation arrives in your hands. Beloved, imagine your crown as light itself, woven from threads of divine fire. Each gem a story of perseverance. Every time you chose forgiveness over anger, another jewel was set in place. Every time you prayed through the pain, another layer of gold was added. Every time you refused to give up, the light of your crown grew brighter. Now it glows upon your head, not as a symbol of status, but as a sign of survival. Your journey was never about comfort, it was about coronation. Heaven has been preparing you to rule not over people, but over patterns, not over others, but over the storms within. The crown you carry now is invisible to the world, but weighty in eternity. And with it comes responsibility. You are not crowned to sit, you are crowned to serve. You are not elevated for ego, you are elevated for influence. Your voice carries weight now because it has been tested by fire. What you say matters. What you share multiplies. The stories of your scars are not just your memories. They are medicine for those still bleeding. Every word you release, every testimony you share, becomes a spark that ignites faith in another. When you share these messages, beloved, you are not just supporting a voice, you are building an altar of light across the digital wilderness. Every like, every comment, every act of generosity becomes a brick in that altar. Together, we are forming something eternal. When you subscribe or support this message, it's not about algorithms, it's about alignment. You're saying, I want to keep the light flowing. Every small gesture, even the simplest donation, becomes like oil poured into a lamp that refuses to go out. You are helping heaven's sound travel farther, reaching souls who are standing where you once stood, lost, tired, but still searching for hope. Think of it like tending a sacred fire. The embers must be stirred, the logs replenished, the warmth shared. When you give, you don't just sustain a voice, you help keep countless hearts from growing cold. Every act of support, whether it's sharing the message, leaving a comment of encouragement, or giving what you can, becomes part of the divine rhythm of exchange. Light given, light received. And when you speak in the comments, your words ripple further than you realize. Someone reading silently may find strength in your confession, comfort in your courage, or peace in your presence. The digital space becomes a sanctuary, a gathering of chosen ones scattered across the earth but united in purpose. Your crown, beloved, is not for display, it is for duty. The glory resting on you is not ornamental, it is operational. You are meant to carry light into the ordinary, to bring the fragrance of heaven into the noise of earth. When you step into a room, peace enters with you. When you speak, atmospheres shift. When you give, worlds change. Heaven smiles upon those who hold fast to their purpose and share their portion freely. You have been crowned not to keep the blessing contained, but to let it flow through you. The river of anointing never runs dry for those who pour into others. So, hold fast to what you've been given. Keep the fire burning. Keep the crown shining. Every time you lift your voice in gratitude, every time you share what inspires, Every time you sow into what feeds your spirit, you are declaring, "My crown will not be taken." And remember, beloved, the crown you wear is not a finish line, it's the beginning of reign. You are rising now into the fullness of your assignment. You are proof that the pain was not wasted, that obedience always births glory. Heaven looks at you and whispers, "Well done, chosen one." The story has turned. What once felt like survival has now become significance. The weight that once bent your back has transformed into wisdom resting on your shoulders. Heaven has been weaving through your obedience something far greater than personal breakthrough, something generational. The ripple effect of your yes has already begun. When you first surrendered, you might have thought it was only about your life, your healing, your peace. But destiny never works in isolation. Obedience is never singular, it echoes. The smallest act of surrender sends shockwaves through the unseen, reaching places and people you may never meet. Every decision to choose light over fear has rewritten more stories than you could ever imagine. The Spirit often moves quietly, but the impact is loud. Somewhere, right now, a heart beats steadier because of your courage. A family prays again because of your endurance. A child sleeps peacefully because your prayer covered them without you even knowing. That is the mystery of divine obedience. It multiplies. What you do in secret becomes a song in someone else's night. Generational impact rarely looks dramatic at first. It begins subtly, like the roots of a great tree spreading silently underground. You may not see the fruit yet, but the foundation is forming. The seeds you've planted through faith, compassion, and perseverance are breaking through the soil of time. Every moment you chose to love instead of lash out, to forgive instead of fight, to believe instead of quit, you shifted history. We are reminded through the promise written in the book of Genesis, chapter 12, verse 2, "I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing." This was not only spoken to Abraham, it is a template for every chosen one who walks in covenant. To be blessed is not the end, it is the beginning of being a blessing. What heaven pours into you is never meant to stop with you. It flows through you like a river, shaping valleys and feeding lives beyond your reach. Look at how your journey has unfolded. You started in ashes, and now you stand as an altar. You have gone from breaking down to building up. The lessons carved into your soul are not wasted. They are the inheritance you leave to those who follow. Every struggle you've overcome becomes wisdom your descendants will walk in effortlessly. Every wall you've torn down becomes a bridge for someone else to cross. You may never see all the ripples of your obedience, but heaven records them. The laughter of those you've touched, the peace that follows your prayers, the courage that rises in hearts because of your faith. These are your legacy. They are the eternal footprints of your faithfulness. There are moments when you might question your impact, when the quiet of life makes you wonder if your obedience truly mattered. But beloved, understand this, the most powerful transformations often happen out of sight. The rain does not announce itself to the roots, yet without it, the forest dies. You have been that rain, quiet, steady, faithful, and now the forest of your influence grows strong. Perhaps there were times you wanted to give up, when the weight of your calling felt too heavy, when the silence after your prayers felt unbearable. But even then, your perseverance was prophecy. Heaven used your endurance as evidence that light could still win through human hearts. Angels rejoiced not at your perfection, but at your persistence. Your obedience has broken cycles that generations before you could not escape. The patterns of fear, poverty, addiction, and shame, things that haunted your family line, are ending with you. Your yes to God has become a door of deliverance for those who come after. Where there was once generational pain, now there will be generational purpose. You are the turning point in your bloodline, the hinge on which heaven swings open, blessing after blessing. What you have endured privately will birth freedom publicly, long after your name fades from the world's memory. The light you released will still burn in others. That is legacy, not fame, but faithfulness multiplied. And in your obedience, heaven's plan expands. You may have thought your role was small, but there are no small roles in eternal design. Every act of love you've given, every quiet prayer, every moment you chose to walk in light has joined the great current of redemption flowing through time. You are part of something vast and holy. So, beloved, stand in awe not of yourself, but of the God who chose you to carry this light forward. The same power that raised Christ from the grave now raises hope through you. The story did not end with your pain, it began with your perseverance. Let this truth rest deep within you. Your life is not just being lived, it's being multiplied. Every breath, every prayer, every act of obedience echoes beyond your lifetime. You have become a conduit of blessing, a vessel through which heaven continues to write its story upon the earth. The ripple has already reached beyond you. What you've started cannot be undone. And somewhere, generations from now, a voice will rise in praise, and heaven will whisper your name with honor. Beloved chosen one, the circle is complete. What began as trembling obedience has unfolded into divine fulfillment. The path that once felt uncertain now shines with purpose. You stand at the threshold of everything, heaven promised, destiny fulfilled, glory revealed. The battles, the tears, the silences, the seasons of stretching, they were not separate events, they were sacred steps. Every valley led to vision, every wound led to wisdom, every prayer became prophecy in motion. Now, heaven's script manifests through you. You are no longer merely waiting for purpose, you are walking in it. The same storms that once threatened to sink you have become the waves that carry you forward. You have learned to move with the rhythm of grace. You no longer beg for direction, you breathe it. The will of God has become not a mystery to chase, but a melody to live. You carry within you the evidence that faith works, that surrender transforms, that light truly conquers darkness. You have become what the enemy feared most, a living testimony. Every scar glows with divine purpose. Every failure has been redeemed into fuel. Your life is now the sermon you once needed to hear. You no longer speak merely from knowledge, but from knowing. The word of the Lord speaks through Paul in his letter to the Philippians, chapter 1, verse 6, being confident of this very thing, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Completion, what a holy word. It does not mean the end of motion, it means the beginning of mastery. The same hands that shaped you in struggle now release you in strength. The masterpiece is not perfect because it is flawless, it is perfect because it is finished. You have become the living evidence of that promise. What he began, he has fulfilled. Look at how far you have come. The questions that once tormented you have transformed into quiet trust. The fears that once shouted now bow to faith. The wounds that once bled now pour wisdom into others. You are not merely surviving anymore, you are stewarding glory. The fire that once tested you now radiates from within you. Destiny fulfilled does not look like a stage or applause, it looks like peace. It's waking up knowing you are exactly where you were meant to be, doing what you were designed to do. It's walking through the world, not needing validation, because heaven's approval already rests on you. You don't chase purpose anymore. Purpose flows through you like breath. Beloved, fulfillment feels quiet after the storm. The noise fades. The striving ceases. There is no need to prove anything anymore. You simply are. You stand steady, anchored, aware that all along, heaven was never trying to make you impressive, it was making you whole. The goal was never greatness, it was glory. This glory does not shout, it glows. It's the kind of presence that brings peace to a room, that calms storms in others just by existing. You have become a carrier of divine stillness. You move through the world with the weightless confidence of someone who knows that grace has already gone before them. You no longer pray for open doors, you walk through the ones already open. And now, as you step into the fullness of who you are, heaven celebrates not your perfection, but your perseverance. Angels stand in awe, not of your strength, but of your surrender. The Father looks upon you with pride, not because you never fell, but because you never stayed down. You rose, again and again, until rising became your nature. This is what destiny fulfilled feels like: wholeness. You have not only arrived at promise, you have become the promise. You are the living fulfillment of prayers your ancestors once whispered. Through your obedience, their faith finds form. Through your endurance, heaven's intention finds expression. You are the continuation of divine storylines written before time began. The glory revealed through you is not distant light, it is living flame. You are no longer reaching toward heaven. Heaven now moves through you. Every word you speak, every step you take, releases traces of eternity into the temporary. You have become the meeting place of divine and human, the intersection of purpose and presence. So, rest now. Beloved, you have done what few dare to do. You have obeyed to the end. The crown is secure. The mantle rests. The fire burns steady. You no longer chase the voice of God from afar, you walk with it within. The journey that began in uncertainty has ended in understanding. What was once a whisper has become your heartbeat. The world may not know the cost, but heaven does, and heaven rejoices, for the story has come full circle. And you, yes, you stand radiant at its center. Beloved chosen one, if your heart is still beating faster after this journey, it is because heaven is confirming what you already know. This message was meant for you. You did not arrive here by scrolling or by chance. You were led here, step by step, breath by breath, so that destiny could meet you in this exact moment. You have walked through fire and silence, through surrender and awakening, and you have arrived at understanding. But this is not the end, it is the beginning of a greater unfolding. You are no longer wandering, you are walking in rhythm with heaven, and as that rhythm beats in you, it calls to others who are still lost, still searching for the sound of purpose. That is why this light must keep moving. These words are not meant to stay confined to one heart. They are meant to ripple through many. Every time you share this message, You help heaven speak to another soul that needs to remember who they are. Every time you like or comment, you are adding your voice to a chorus that declares, "We are still here. We are still chosen." So, leave a comment below, not out of obligation, but as a living testimony. Write what resonated most. Speak your gratitude, your revelation, or even your prayer. You never know who might need to read your words at midnight and find hope again. Your comment could become the confirmation someone else has been praying for. And if this message has touched you deeply, if it has helped you rise again, consider subscribing, not just to follow a page, but to stay within the flow of faith. This space has become more than words. It has become a gathering of chosen ones, a living altar of voices echoing across the earth. When you share, when you engage, when you give, you keep the flame alive. You are not supporting a platform, you are sustaining a purpose. You are helping the sound of awakening reach hearts that are still hidden in the dark. So, as this final word rests in your spirit, carry it forward. Let your presence be the sermon. Let your kindness be the message. Let your life be the proof that destiny, once awakened, never dies. You are the light that continues the story. Go shine. Go share. Go live it.